Hi, Miyu. So, we're going to be having our stage 6, right?
Yay!
Yep. Congratulations. This is a new challenge for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, by the way, welcome to stage 6 for the very 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Okay, so let's start. Ready? Good. So let's talk about situation here. So what would you do if you saw someone taking something from a shop without paying? What would you do if you saw someone taking from a shop without paying? If I saw
If I
someone
saw
taking
someone taking
something
something
from a shop
from a shop without
without
paying,
paying, call the
I'd
manager.
call the manager.
I'd call the
I'd
manager.
call the manager.
What do people normally do in situations like that? What do people normally do in situations like that? People normally
People
do
normally do
nothing
nothing
in
in
situations like that.
situations like that.
Like that. The police officers often find themselves in dangerous situations. The police officers often find themselves in dangerous situations. Yes, police
Yes, police
officers
officers
often find
often
themselves find
find
themselves
themselves,
find themselves in dangerous
in dangerous
situations.
situations.
Yeah, what is supposed to happen if there was suddenly no water in the world? What is supposed to happen if there was suddenly no water in the world? I suppose we'd
I
all
suppose
die.
we
We'd all
we'd
die
all die
of
of
thirst.
thirst
Thirst if there was
if
suddenly no water. There were
if
suddenly
there
so
were
there were
suddenly
suddenly no water in the
no
world.
water in the
In the
world.
world. Yep. If you slept only 2 hours tonight, how would you suppose, or how do you suppose you'd feel tomorrow morning if you slept 2 hours tonight? Oh yeah, only that one. How do you suppose you'd feel tomorrow morning if I only
If I
slept two
only
hours
slept two
tonight?
hours tonight,
I
I'd
suppose I'd feel
suppose
very,
I'd feel very
very tired tomorrow
tired
morning.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, today's Wednesday, right? So supposing today were Sunday, where'd you be now? Supposing today were Sunday, where'd you be now? Supposing today were
Supposing today
Sunday,
were Sunday,
I'd be here.
I'd be here.
Yep, still. Yep, another. So, supposing you lost your password, what would you do? Supposing you lost your password, what would you do? Supposing I lost my
Supposing I lost
password,
my passport,
I immediately
I'd
tell the police.
immediately tell the police.
Yep, does it get hotter and hotter as we go towards the north of Europe? Again, does it get hotter and hotter as we go towards the north of Europe? No, it
No,
doesn't get
it
hotter
doesn't
and
get
hotter
hotter and hotter
as we go towards the north of, as we go
as we go
towards
towards
the north
the
of
north
Europe.
of Europe.
It gets colder and
It gets
colder.
colder and colder.
The people usually become richer and richer as they become older. People usually become richer and richer as they become older. Yes, people
Yes,
usually
people
become
usually become
richer
richer
and
and
richer as
richer
they
as
become
they become older
older. Why? Why? Because they
because they
usually earn
usually earn
more and
more
more
and more
money.
money.
This good wine usually becomes cheaper and cheaper as it becomes older. Again, this good wine usually becomes cheaper and cheaper as it becomes older. And a good
No,
wine
good wine
doesn't.
doesn't
It usually become cheaper and cheaper. Usually
usually
become
become cheaper and
cheaper and
cheaper
cheaper as it becomes
as
older.
it becomes
Becomes
older.
older, it usually
It
becomes
usually becomes
more and more
more and more
expensive.
expensive.
Yep. How long does it take to get ready to go out in the morning? How long does it take you to get ready in the morning or to go out in the morning? It takes me about
It takes me about
30 minutes to
30
get
minutes to
ready
get ready
to go out
to
in the
go out in
morning.
the morning.
When do you think you'll be ready to take the exam at the end of this book? What do you think you'll be ready to take the exam at the end of this book? I think I'll
I
be
think I'll
ready
be ready
to take the
to take the
exam
exam
at the end of
at the
this
end
book
of this book
in about a
in
month
about a month
time.
time.
Time. Yep. Are you always ready to lend people money? Are you always ready to lend people money? No, I'm not
No, I'm
always
not
ready.
always ready
Ready to lend people money. To lend
to
people
lend
money.
people money.
Do you think most people are ready for marriage when they are 18 years old? Do you think most people are ready for marriage when they are 18 years old? Yes, no,
No,
no. I don't
I
think
don't
most
think most
people
people
are ready for marriage.
not ready for
Are ready for
are ready for
marriage
marriage
when they are
when
18
they
years
are
old.
18
18
years
years old.
old.
If the government of your country decided to build a new national sports stadium, whereabouts do you think it should be? If the government of your country decided to build a new national sports stadium, whereabouts do you think it should be? If the
If
government
the
of my
government of
country
my country
decided to build a
decided to build a
new national sports
national sport
stadium,
stadium,
I think it
I
should be in
think it should
Tokyo.
be in
It
Tokyo.
should not be. It should be
It
in
should be in
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Yeah, national sports stadium. Again, how to describe someone you know, please. Again, describe someone you know, please. I'll
I'll
describe
describe
who.
you.
Yep. Okay.
You're short. Yay! I'm tall.
Me only, okay? You don't need to compare. You put ER if you like. I'll describe you, you are sure. You guys, she's a really nice friend, you know? Really nice.
Yeah,
Amazing. Etc.
etc.
Don't make me hurt so bad.
Okay,
They're
you're smart.
etc.
Okay,
Etc.
etc.
Guys, it's all S and T. Okay, so let's just say etc. She can describe all with S and T: short, smart, never mind, etc. I can describe the place where you live. Please describe the place where you live. Please, the place where I
The
live
place where I live
is
is
where? In a town. In a
in a
town.
town.
And then what else?
And
What about
then
this? There are some.
there's some
There's some
trees
trees,
and what?
parks.
Houses,
What else?
parks. Okay. Beautiful
Fish shop.
natures.
Oh, nature's a lot. Okay, etc.
Etc.
Nature, no, nature's. It's okay. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm describing the
I'm
place.
describing the
The
place
place where I live.
where I live.
Yep. Do you think it's a good enough description? Do you think it's a good enough description? Yes, I think it's a
Yes,
good
I
enough.
think
It's good enough. It's a good enough
good enough
description.
description.
Yeah, you sound like just
Okay.
not so stressful. Yep. Is it correct to say the book was writing by him? Again, is it correct to say the book was writing by him? No, it isn't
No, it
correct to
isn't
say.
correct to say.
It isn't
Isn't
correct to say.
correct to say.
The
The
book was
book
writing by
was
him.
written by him.
We,
The
we
book
must
was
say
huh?
the book
The
was
book was
writing
written
by
by
him.
him.
We must say the
We
book
must say
was
the book was written by
written by
him.
him. Yep. Is it correct that 4 plus 5 equals 11? Well, is it correct that 4 plus 5 equals 11? No, it isn't correct
No,
that.
it isn't correct
That
that
4 plus 5
4 plus
equals
5
11.
equals
11,
11.
it's incorrect.
It's
Incorrect.
incorrect.
What did you have, or what did you do as soon as you came into the classroom? What did you do as soon as you came into the classroom? I sat
I
down
sat down as soon as
I came into
I
the
came into
classroom.
the classroom.
What will you do as soon as the lesson is over? What will you do as soon as the lesson is over? I'll eat snack.
It's snacks.
As soon as the
As soon
lesson
as the
is over.
lessons is
It's
over.
over.
Yeah, true.
Yep, sure. Yeah, sure. And then when you learn something like money, for example, do you prefer the other person to give it back on a certain date or just as soon as possible? When you learn something like money, for example, do you prefer the other person to give it back on a certain date or just as soon as possible? When I learn
When I
something
learn
like
something like money,
for example, I prefer the
I
other
prefer
person
the other person
to give it
give
back
it back
just
just
as
as
soon
soon
as
as
possible.
possible.
It was the strangest person, the strangest person, the strangest person I know, the strangest
The
person I know, the
the
strangest
strangest
person
I
I know
know
is
is
what
you.
watching.
What?
I know.
Yourself.
Yeah, sometimes I agree. All right. So, what do you? When do we use the words they, them, etc. to talk about just one person, or what do we use the words they, them, etc. to talk about just one person? We use the
We
words
use the words
they, them,
they, them,
etc.
etc.
to talk
to
about
talk
just one
about just one
person.
person.
When we don't know that
We don't know
if the person is a man or
is a man or a
a
woman.
woman. If someone lost their passport, what advice would you give them? If someone lost their passport, what advice would you give them? If someone
If
lost
someone
their
lost their
passport,
passports,
lost their
lost their
passport, I
passports,
told them
I
that
told
they
them
should
they
immediately
should
immediately go to the
go to
police.
the police.
Yep, what verb can we use instead of the verb to close? Again, what verb can we use instead of the verb to close? We can use
We
the
can
verb to
use the
shut
verb to shut
instead of the verb
instead
to
of the verb
close.
to close.
If some friends were talking loudly while they were talking, let's say trying to study, so what would you say? Again, if some friends were talking loudly while you were trying to study, what would you say? If some
If some
friends were
friends
talking
were talking
loudly
loudly
while I was
while
trying
I
to
was trying
study,
to study,
I'd
I'd
say,
say,
could you be quiet,
could you be
please?
quiet, please?
And if they carried on talking loudly even after that, what might you then say? And if they carried on talking loudly after you said that, or after that, what might you then say? If they
If they
carried on
carried on
talking
talking
loudly even after
even
that,
after that,
I might then
I
say,
might
"Shut
then
up,
say, shut up.
shut up, haha." You do. Okay. Yeah. Do you always choose your clothes yourself, or does someone else ever help you to choose them? Again, do you always choose your clothes yourself, or does someone else ever help you to choose them? Yes, I
Yes,
always
I
choose my
always
clothes
choose
my clothes
my
myself.
clothes myself.
Yep, if you had to choose between having 10,000 pounds now or 40,000 pounds in 10 years' time, what would you choose? If you had to choose between having 10,000 pounds now or 40,000 pounds in 10 years' time, what would you choose? If I had to
If I had to
choose
choose
between having
between having
10,000 pounds
10,000
now
pounds now
or
or
40,000 pounds in
pounds
10
in
years'
10 years'
time,
time,
I
I
choose to have
choose to have
which
40,000
one?
pounds in the future.
In 10 years' time.
In
In
10
10 years'
years'
time.
time.
So shortcut in the future. In 10 years'
In
time.
10 years' time.
Why? Because
Because I can have more money. Yay.
I can invest 10. It will become more. Okay, it will become 10 times. Oh, investor. Another, so do you think you'd be able to recognize me if we met each other again in 30 years' time? Do you think you'd be able to recognize me or if we met each other again in 30 years' time? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, I think I'd be able to recognize you if we met each
if we
other
met each
again
other again
in 30 years'
in 30
time.
years' time.
Years' time.
Years' time.
Yep, would you say that you were good at recognizing people after having or not having seen them for several years? Like, would you say that you were good at recognizing people even or after not having seen them for several years? Yes, no?
Maybe. Yes.
Maybe. Yes. Maybe what? Which? So,
Maybe
yes,
not.
I'd say.
I'd say.
Which one? Yes or no?
Yes, I'd say.
Yes, I'd say I was good.
I was good.
Come on. Cannot wait. Come on. I'd say I was good
I
at
was good at
recognizing people
recognizing people
after not having
after not
seen
having
them
seen them
for several
for several
years.
years.
Yeah, what would you say? Or would you say you spoke English rather well now? Would you say you spoke English rather well now? Yes, I'd say I spoke
Yes,
English.
I'd say. I
Mhm,
speak
I
English.
spoke
I
English
spoke English
rather well now.
ra-
Rather well now.
rather well now.
Yeah, what can I say? What can we say instead of I would prefer to drink tea? What can we say instead of I would prefer to drink tea? We can say I would
I
rather
would
drink
rather
tea
drink tea
instead of I would prefer
instead
to
of
drink tea. I
I
would prefer to
I
drink
would
tea.
prefer to drink
To
tea.
drink tea. Yep, would you rather have a cold drink than a hot drink at the moment? Summer, right? So would you rather have a cold drink than a hot drink at the moment? Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes, I'd rather have
I'd
a
rather
cold
have
drink
a cold drink
than a hot
than a
drink at the
hot drink
moment.
at the moment.
Yeah, what would you rather do this evening? Read a book, watch television, or go to the cinema? What would you rather do this evening? Read a book, watch television, or go to the cinema? I'd
I'd
rather
rather watch
read
a
a book
TV.
than
Hey,
watch TV.
reading a book?
Do you watch
Okay.
TV? Okay.
All right. Okay, I'll read the book.
Okay. I'd rather read
I'd
a book.
rather read a book
Read a
than
book.
read a
Read a book.
book
Then watch
than watch
television or go to the
television or
cinema
go to cinema
this evening.
this evening.
Yeah, would you rather go on a long flight or a long train journey? Would you rather go on a long flight or long train journey? I'd rather go
I'd rather
on
go on
a long flight than
long
on a
flight, a long
long
flight
flight
than
on a long
on a
train
long
journey.
train journey.
Yeah, she has no choice, guys. Okay? I control her. Okay, Canada, do you have very much faith in your government? Do you have very much faith in your government? Yes, no? No? Yes?
No? Yes?
No, I don't. Oh, which one? Yes, no, no?
Okay.
Yes? Listen, no?
Okay. No.
No?
Okay.
Okay, no, I don't have very
No, I
much
don't have
faith
very much faith
in my
in my
government.
government.
Oh. Another about how old is the Christian faith? About how old is the Christian faith? The Christian faith
The
is about
Christian faith is
2,000 years old.
2,000 years old.
So tell me one common use of the future simple, please. Tell me one common use of the future simple, please. One common
One
use
common
of
use of
the
the
future
future
simple is to
simple is to
communicate
communicate that
that we have
we
just
have
this
just
moment decided
decided
to do something.
to
Do
do
something.
something.
Give an example. Give an example. Sorry, I forgot to bring
Sorry
the
if I
money.
forgot to bring the money
The money for you.
for you.
For you, I'll bring it tomorrow. I promise. I'll bring it tomorrow.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
I promise.
I promise.
Huh? Lucky Joe. Oh, challenge more. Come on. Tell me another common use of the future simple, please. Again, tell me another common use of the future simple, please. Another common
Another
use
common
of
use of
the future
the
simple.
future simply. Huh? Future? What?
Use of
Use of
use of the future
the future
simple
simple
is to make
is
a
to make a
prediction.
prediction.
Give me examples. Give me examples. I can't
I
remember
can't
what she
remember
looks
what
like.
she
She
looks
looks
like,
like, but I'm sure I'll
but
recognize
I'm
her.
sure I'll
I'll
recognize her
recognize her when I see her.
when I see her.
When I see her. Yep. Tell me one common use of to be going to, please. Tell me one common use of to be going to, please. One common
One
use
common
of
use of
to be
to
going
be
to is
going
to
to
make
is to make
a prediction using
a prediction
information.
using
Using
information
information we already have.
we already have.
Yep. Give me examples. Give me examples. Be careful.
Be careful.
Be careful. That wine glass is
That
going to
wine
fall off.
glass is going to fall
Fall off
off
the table.
the table.
Yep. Tell me another common use of to be going to, please. Tell me another common use of to be going to, please. Another common
Another
use
common
of
use of
to be
to
going
be
to
going
is to
to is to
communicate
communicate
a future
a future
intention,
intention,
something that
something that we
have
have
already decided to do.
decided to do.
Give an examples. Give an examples. I'm going to
I'm
go to the
going to go to
cinema
the cinema
next Saturday.
next Saturday.
Social distancing. And now tell me what you have decided to do this evening. Please tell me what you have decided to do this evening. Please, this evening,
This evening, I'm going
I'm going to read a book,
read a
etc.
book, etc.
etc. You said a while ago, right? You will read a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the house or the bedroom, yeah, consistency, guys. And in the house are the bedrooms usually downstairs, and the house are the bedrooms usually downstairs. Yes, for you. Yes,
Yes.
yes, in a house.
In a house,
In a house, the
the
bedrooms are
bedrooms are
usually downstairs.
downstairs.
This is for everyone. So it's in a house, or the bedrooms usually downstairs. In a house, or the bedrooms usually downstairs. Now in a
Now in a
house,
house,
the
the
bedrooms
bedrooms
aren't usually
usually
downstairs.
downstairs.
They're usually
They are
upstairs.
usually upstairs.
It's not only. Yeah, no, and is the living room usually upstairs? And is the living room usually upstairs? No, the living
No,
room
the living
isn't.
room
It's
isn't
usually
usually
upstairs.
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 Upstairs
It's
is
usually.
usually downstairs.
Yep. If you had to get a room that was on the 10th floor of the building, would you take the stairs or the lift? And if you had to get a room that was on the 10th floor of the building, would you take the stairs or the lift? If I had to
If I had
go
to go
to a
to
room
a
that was
room
on
that
the
was on the
10th floor of the building,
uh,
that was on
that
the
was
10th
on the
floor
10th floor
of a
of a
building,
building,
I'd take
I'd
the.
take the lift.
Yep, that's correct. What about this one? Is this my top lip? Is this my top lip? No, it isn't
It isn't your top
your
lip.
top lip. It's your
It's your bottom lip.
bottom lip. Yep. Do you think women look better with or without lipstick? Again, do you think women look better with or without lipstick? I think
I
women
think
look
women look
better
better
with or
with
without
lipstick.
lipstick. Oh. Like, I see. Another. So, what system of government do you have in your country? What system of government do you have in your country? We have a
We
democratic system of.
we
We
have
have
a
a democratic
democratic system of
system of government in my
government
country.
in my country.
Yeah, an example, guys, comment down below again. So, is sailing a popular sport in your country? Is sailing sport a popular sport in your country? Yes, no.
Maybe no.
No,
Maybe yes.
sailing isn't
Sailing
no.
isn't
A popular
a
sport
popular
sport
sport
in my
in my
country.
country.
Would you like to be a sailor? Would you like to be a sailor? Yes,
No,
no. No, I
I
wouldn't like to be
wouldn't
a
like to be
sailor.
a sailor.
Yeah, because you don't even go out. Another. What about this one? Yeah, me, I want to be as a superwoman. Another. So, what do we use the auxiliary verb in a positive sentence with the present simple tense? Again, what do we use the auxiliary verb in the positive sentence with the present simple tense? We use the
We use the
auxiliary verb do
auxiliary verb to
a positive sentence
with
in a
in a
positive
positive
sentence
sentence
with a present
with the
simple
present
tense
simple tense
when we want to
when
be
we want
emphatic.
to be emphatic.
Emphatic. Yes, so when we do usually use the emphatic do, what do we usually the emphatic do we usually
We
use
usually use
the
the
emphatic
emphatic
do
to
when we want to
when we
deny
want to
something
deny something
that someone has
that
said.
someone had
Someone has
said
said because we
because
know
we know
it isn't
it
true.
isn't true.
Yep. Give me examples. Give me examples. For
For
example,
example,
if somebody says,
if somebody
if somebody
said
says you don't
you
eat enough
don't
vegetables,
you don't
you don't eat
eat
enough vegetables.
enough enough
Vegetables.
vegetables
Enough
enough
vegetables.
vegetables
Vegetables.
vegetables.
I can reply,
I can
yes, I
reply,
do
yes,
eat.
I do
I eat
eat
enough
enough
vegetables.
vegetables.
Yes, I do eat enough vegetables. Right. All right, me reply to the sentence using the emphatic form, please. You don't know what I've got in my pocket. I can reply to the sentence using the emphatic form, please. You don't know what I've got in my pocket. Yes, I do
Yes, I do
know
know
what you've got
you've got in your
in your pocket.
pocket.
Yep, tell me another use of the emphatic do. Please have another common use of, or another use of emphatic do. Please, another
Another
use of
use of
the emphatic do.
the emphatic
Emphatic
do
do is in an
is
exclamation.
an
An exclamation.
exclamation.
Give an example. Give an example. Say, I do
I
hate
do
noisy children.
hate
Noisy children.
noisy children.
Kidding, guys. Another, she does write beautifully.
She does write beautifully.
Beautifully. Yep, reply to the sentence using the emphatic form in the past, please. He didn't cycle home yesterday. He didn't cycle home yesterday. Yes, he
Yes,
did
he did
cycle
cycle home
home
yesterday.
yesterday. This time I want you to reply these sentences me using the emphatic forms, please. Ready? So you can't read quickly. You can't read quickly. Yes, I can
Yes, I
read
can
quickly.
read quickly.
And the weather's been good. The weather's been good. No, the
No, the
weather
weather
has not
has
been
not
good.
been good.
She doesn't love her family. She doesn't love her family. Yes, she
Yes, she
does love
does
her
love
family.
her family.
When she came to her school early, he came to school early. He came to school early. No, he
No, he
didn't
didn't
come
come
to
to
school
school
early.
early.
We shouldn't tell him the news. We shouldn't tell him the news. Yes, we should
Yes, we
tell
should
him
tell him
the news.
the news.
Yep, so this time I'm gonna be hitting the table with my hand. What am I doing? What am I doing? You're
You're
hitting the
hitting the
table
table
with
with
your
your
hand.
hand.
Have you ever hit your head getting in a car? Again, have you ever hit your head getting into a car? Yes, no, no.
No,
I've
I've
never hit
never
my
hit
head
my head
Getting into a
Getting
car.
into a car.
What would happen if you hit a policeman? What would happen if you hit a policeman? If I hit a
If I hit a
policeman,
policeman,
he'd arrest me.
he'd arrest
He'd
me.
alert me. He'd arrest me.
He'd arrest me.
Have you ever seen anyone arrested? Have you ever seen anyone arrested? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen
I've
someone
seen
arrested.
someone arrested.
What are the 5 meanings of the word fair? What are the 5 meanings of the word fair? The five
The
meanings
five
of the word
meanings of the
fair
word fair
are fair
are
hair, industrial, fair,
industrial
fair hair,
fair hair,
industrial, and
industrial and
agricultural fairs. Just moderate
just
and
moderate and
fun fair. Fun fair.
fun fair.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have sad fair. Yeah, fun fair. Another. So, do people become dark and hair color as we go towards the north of Europe? And then do people become dark and hair color as we go towards the north of Europe? No, people
No,
don't become dark and darker in hair color
in
as we go toward in
their
hair color
in their
in hair
color
in
in
hair
hair
color
color
hair
in hair
color
color
as we go towards
as
the
we
north
go
towards
towards
the
the
north
north
of Europe.
of Europe.
They become
They become
fairer and
fairer
fairer.
and fairer.
Yep. Have you ever been to an industrial or agricultural fair? Have you ever been to an industrial or agricultural fair? Yes, no?
No,
No? No, I've never
I've
been to an
never been to an
industrial
industrial
or
or
agricultural fair.
agricultural fair.
Just don't want to see what kind. Very safe. Another, if I ask everyone in this room 20 questions, but only ask you two, would that be fair? If I ask everyone in this room 20 questions, but only ask you two, would that be fair? No, if
No,
you ask
if you ask
everyone
everyone
in this
in
room
this room
20 questions,
20,
but
20 questions,
only
but
ask me
only ask
two,
me two,
it wouldn't be
it
fair.
wouldn't be fair.
It would be
It'd
unfair.
be unfair.
Do they ever have a fanfare in that town? Do they ever have a fanfare in that town? Yes, they sometimes
Yes, they
have
sometimes have
a
a
fanfare in this
fanfare
town.
in this town.
Yeah, town.
Town.
And do you speak English fairly well now? Do you speak English fairly well now? Yes, I speak
Yes,
English
I
fairly well
speak
now.
English
Fairly
fairly
well
well
now.
now.
Because even in here, guys, come on. This is a challenge, guys. Okay, don't be too serious. Another, yeah, it's me's level though. In real life. Yep. Another. Is it a great pleasure for you to get up in the morning? Is it great pleasure for you to get up in the morning? Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes, it's a great pleasure for
It's a
me. Great,
great pleasure for me.
great pleasure for me.
Great pleasure for
Pleasure
me
for me to get up in the
to get up
morning.
in the morning
Why? Why? Because I
because
find
I
my
find
snack
my snack
delicious. Delicious.
delicious.
Uh-huh. It's not about the work, right? Be honest. I like my food. Yeah, do you think it's possible for life to be full of pleasure all the time? Do you think it's possible for life to be full of pleasure all the time? Yes, I think it's
Yes, I
possible
think
for
it's
life
possible for life
to be
to
full of
be full of
pleasure all the
pleasure
time.
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Do you think it's wrong to use animals for experiments? Do you think it's wrong to use animals for experiments? Yes, I think
Yes,
it's
I think
wrong
it's wrong
to use
to use
animals for
animals for
experiments.
experiments.
Yep. When was America discovered by Europeans and who discovered it? Again, when was America discovered by Europeans and who discovered it? America was discovered by
America was
was
discovered
discovered by
by
Europeans
Europeans
in 1492
1492
by Christopher
by Christopher
Columbus
Columbus
or by
or
Leif
by Leif
Erikson,
Erikson,
not Erickson,
Erickson
about the year
about the year
1000.
1000.
Yep, 1000.
1000.
Yep, is the internet useful for discovering new information? Is the internet useful for discovering information, new information? Yes, the internet is
Yes, the
useful.
internet is
The
useful.
internet,
The
the internet
internet
is
is
useful for
useful for
discovering new
discovering
information.
information.
Yeah, would you like to be scientist? Would you like to be scientist? No, I wouldn't like to
I
be a
wouldn't like
scientist.
I
To be
wouldn't like to be
to be
a
a scientist.
scientist
Why we're not? We're not because
because
yes. What?
I'm not interested in
Which one? Science?
science.
Heavenly body? Which one? Everything.
Mm,
Because I'm not interesting.
because
I'm not
I'm not
interested.
interested
I'm not
in
interested.
everything.
So sad. I'm not interested in.
I'm
I'm
not
not
interested
interested
in
in everything about
everything
science.
about science.
So sad. I'm a science teacher. You don't like science. It's okay. We're English now, right? Another. What do you call a paper handkerchief? What do you call a paper handkerchief? We call a
We
paper
call a paper
handkerchief.
handkerchief
Paper
paper
handkerchief.
handkerchief a
A tissue.
tissue.
Yep, another. What about this one? How many football divisions are there in your country? About how many football divisions are there in your country? There are
There are
about
about
5 of the divisions in my country.
Division in my
Divisions in my country.
Divisions in my country.
On an example, guys. So which divisions in your hometown? In which divisions your hometown? In my hometowns in the third division. So only an example. The time now is 6 o'clock. If I went over the road and said I'll be back in an hour, what time would I return? This time, for example, it's 6 o'clock. Well, if I went out of the room and said I'll be back in an hour, at what time would I return? If you went out of the room and said I'll be back in an hour. Now you'd return at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. See you then.